All right, let's kick this off. Hey everyone, welcome and thank you for being here. Today is about something very real in your day-to-day work, your time, your energy, and your presence with clients. We'll walk you through what's new, what's coming next, and how you can feel completely confident using smart notes in your practice. I'll keep this quick. This is our forward-looking statement, but we will share a few things about where we are headed, what's next. This is subject to change based on your feedback, company strategy, and what we see in the market trend. Before we do that, let me introduce myself. I'm Vani. I'm the product manager at OWL. I've been here for over 2 years now. And for the last few months, I have been working on smart notes with a brilliant team of engineers and clinicians to make this work for you. And I have Corey join me today.
Hi, I'm Corey Wilson, and I'm manager for customer success. And I've been at All Practice for over 6 months now. That's gone by very quickly. And if you have ever reached out to support, that is one of the teams that I look after here at All Practice. And you might have had me respond to some of your tickets in the past as well. Excited to be here with all of you.
Most therapists don't mind documentation. They mind when it follows them into their evenings. When your last session ends, but your workday doesn't. When you're still thinking about notes instead of being present in your own life. And that's the problem we set out to solve. And today, we're going to show you how you can take that time back without compromising the quality of care. Let's kick this off with a question. I am going to publish this poll. We would like to know, before we dive any deeper, what is your biggest concern when it comes to using AI for documentation with your clients? Is it compliance standards, accuracy of clinical details captured, client information security, or loss of control? I think it is a good mix of all four options, with accuracy of the clinical details captured being the highest and security. We definitely understand your concerns, and that's what we'll be addressing today. This is what we consistently hear from clinicians. Clinicians are working harder to stay caught up. Tools that promise you time savings introduce a lot of uncertainty. And at the core of everything, it comes back to trust. Trust in the privacy, trust in compliance, control, and how to bring this into a client relationship. Because nothing else matters if that trust isn't there. So let's take a look at what actually changes and how we solved this. Before Smart Notes, your work would spill into evenings, your attention is split during the session, and documentation feels like it never ends. With Smart Notes, your notes are ready right after the session, you're fully present, and you don't carry the mental load with you. This is not just about efficiency, it's about getting back to how you work and how your work is supposed to feel. Before we go further, let's hear from one of our clinicians who has been using Smart Notes. Her name is Bonnie Elliott. She's a current Smart Note user. And when clinicians like her describe the impact, they don't start with time, they start with presence. Being able to actually listen without splitting attention, reflect more deeply, and grow as a clinician. That is the real outcome we are hoping for. And Smart Notes is already delivering this real impact. Tens of thousands of notes generated, Hundreds of clinicians are actively using it, thousands of hours saved every single month. Even saving 5 to 10 minutes per session adds up to hours of your week back. Time that you can give back to your clients or to yourself. I'm curious. I have another question. What would make you most comfortable using an AI note taker at your practice? Is it knowing exactly how to explain it to your clients? More control over when and how it's used? Confidence in privacy and compliance? Or seeing how it fits into your workflow? Okay. What we see here is confidence in privacy and compliance is the highest factor in people adopting a tool like this. That's what we'll talk about next. Let's see how you can introduce smart notes to your clients, and Corey will take it away.
All right. So yeah, the answers that you provided in those webinars, they very much reflect a lot of the feedback that you've given us and questions that you've submitted through our support channels. So thank you for participating in that. So the hardest part, we found isn't necessarily using AI tools themselves. Sometimes it's explaining it to the clients that could sometimes seem a little bit daunting. So when clients hear about this, they're typically not thinking about the AI models themselves or how the technology works. They're thinking, how is this going to change, my sessions with you as a therapist? Are you still going to be present with me? My information that I'm sharing, is my information safe? Do I have control as a client as to whether or not these tools are used? I think those are typically the most important points that we're seeing. And if you can answer those to your clients, you've got a long way to winning their trust. So, what are some things that you can say when going over this? So, instead of over explaining and getting into the technical weeds as to what Smart Notes is, keep it human. Keep it focused on the client experience. So, focus on your presence as a clinician. Focus on their choice as a client as to whether or not you're using these tools and their overall comfort. Make sure they feel like they are in control because they should be in this situation. And then what happens is that conversation becomes easier because again, it's not focused on technology. It's about the care that you are providing as a clinician. So we have a few examples here. I want to share a couple of them here with you. So the first one is a kind of a presence focused conversation that you can have with your clients. I use a tool that helps me create accurate notes after our sessions. It allows me to stay fully present with you instead of taking notes while we talk. We only use it with your consent, and you can opt out at any time. So again, focused on how it allows you to be more present as a clinician, and also reminding them that you're the one that gets to make the decision in this situation as to whether or not we use it, not me. And then another one I'll share is about being collaborative and client first. So to help me stay focused on our conversation, I use a tool that supports my note taking. We can either use it during the session or I can summarize afterwards, whatever feels most comfortable for you. What I really like about this example is that there are many different ways that you can actually use Smart Notes in your sessions, and this kind of addresses those when you're talking with the client. So you're kind of giving them a couple options. We can, record the session as we're going through to help transcribe my notes, or if you'd like, I can continue to take notes like I normally do, and I can use the tool to help get a summary afterwards, after that session is complete. So multiple different ways you can approach it. And also, if recording isn't, if they're not comfortable with recording, like I mentioned, you can turn that off, and then you can just have the notes transcribed afterwards. So you don't necessarily have to use the recording function when using Smart Notes. Okay. So why does this approach work a little bit better? Because again, you're shifting the focus. You're shifting the focus away from talking about the tool itself and getting into the technical weeds, and you're getting back to the relationship that you have with the clients themselves. It reinforces that you are using this to be more present. And that is feedback that we've gotten from many of you over and over again since we've released Smart Notes, is that's one of the number one things you like about using this tool. is that you're not so much focused on taking notes during the session. You can really be focused on the client themselves. And then also reinforcing again that they are in control and nothing changes about the experience of care that they've been having with you so far. So what this means for your practice. So this means that you can introduce Smart Notes confidently to your clients, and you can also adapt to every individual client. Not every client's going to be the same. So you might have to adapt your approach, and that's totally fine. Again, just letting them know that they stay fully in control of the experience. So the barrier isn't necessarily using AI tools in your practice, but it's sometimes uncertainty from the client's perspective on what that means. Once you can remove that uncertainty, then everything starts to open up, and you'll find that they'll be willing to support you in this. Okay, so we did this in our previous webinar as well, where we heard from one of our customers, therapists that had been using Smart Notes and hearing about their experience. And we've got Kathy Bernard here and to share her experiences with us in using Smart Notes. So Kathy has been with us since 2020 at Our Practice, and she's got over 20 years of experience as a clinician. She supports individuals navigating ADHD, anxiety, grief, burnout, stress. She also has a special interest in working with first responders and healthcare professionals and their families. She uses a personalized, practical approach to help clients feel understood while building strategies for growth and healing. Kathy actually couldn't meet with us in person today, unfortunately. She's actually out on an amazing cross-country motorcycle trip in Canada. And I'd like to say that's because she got so much time back from using Smart Notes, but I don't know for sure that's true. But she was willing to spend some time to record a video for us in answering some of these questions. So I'll turn it over to Kathy.
So when the opportunity came along to try Owl's Smart Notes, I thought, why not? Let's give it a go. And I wanted to share with you how it's going so far. The first thing that I noticed was the significant savings in time. Documentation takes so much less time, which makes a real difference to my practice. However, that's not the thing that I would say is most significant. What I didn't expect is that Owl Smart Notes has allowed me to have a different level of insight and validation. For example, the other day, I had a really heavy session. And when I logged into the note, it said, "This was a comprehensive session." And I thought, yes, it really was. Thank you. I feel seen. I've been practicing for over 20 years, and I take a very eclectic approach. I use different modalities, sometimes not even aware that I'm using them. And when I log into the notes, it captures anything from CBT to IFS, and there it is, and it gives me that opportunity to review. It's almost like having a third party present that validates what takes place in the session. And I've really enjoyed the ability to, it's helped me notice patterns, to see different things that are happening that I wouldn't be able necessarily to see if I was busy in my session, making sure everything is documented. But I don't have to do that anymore. Now I can really engage in the session and know that a high level note is being recorded and that I'll be able to review that at a later time. One of the questions was, what would you say to a therapist that is unsure about trying the Smart Note? I would share with you that I am an excellent therapist. I'm terrible at technology, and I find this really easy to use. I can go in, I can edit the notes so that it fully reflects what I would like it to say. If I've had any kind of questions or issue, I can reach out to Owl. Their techs are really good in making sure they explain things to me in an easy way to understand. They're quick to get back to me. Another thing that I was a little bit apprehensive about was how my clients might feel. And I would say, for the most part, my clients have been more than willing to come on board. OWL provides a really great consent form that I can send out. And because we're Canadian based and we abide by Canadian privacy laws, my clients have felt very comfortable giving their consent to try this out. Another question was, what would I find hardest about going back to? And I would say, as I mentioned earlier, the time savings is significant. And I would really miss that time, but even more so the validation and this additional insight that I didn't see coming, but I've really enjoyed, and it's now become such an important part of my practice. I would be sad to do without it. So I would say to you, if you're considering it, give it a go.
All right. So I love that. Just to summarize, there was a lot that Kathy said there, but I think it kind of follows the theme of something that we hear often from people who've been using SmartNotes for a little while already, is that yes, there's a time savings, and she did mention that a few times, that a lot of it is about saving time, but it's really changing about how you are approaching your sessions while you're in them. It'll just allowing you to be more present with your clients while in session, not so concerned with taking the notes, and feeling confident that the tool is accurately capturing what you are talking about during that session.
All right. Thank you, Corey. SmartNotes is designed specifically for you. It is a compliant AI note taker built for Canadian clinicians. It's not a general tool, but something built for your reality. I have one last question that I am going to publish now. The question was, how do you see yourself integrating an AI note taker into your workflow? Is it for in-person session that you'll find it more useful, for virtual or telehealth sessions, or for post-session dictations? And you can send your responses to us in either chat or the question answer format that we have. We'll capture that data and we'll send it to you after the webinar. Let's look at how Smart Notes work. We have kept the workflow very simple. All you need to do is enable Smart Notes. Once you complete your session, if you have scribed a telehealth session or recorded an in-person session, we capture the audio recording and we transcribe it. Once the transcription is ready, a draft note is generated in the template that you have chosen. It's ready for you to review, edit, and approve. Answering the biggest questions that you all have: privacy and compliance. It's built in. Your data stays in Canada. Your recordings are deleted as soon as the transcript is ready. We do not save any recordings. Transcriptions are deleted after 7 days. You do have an option to delete it sooner if that's something that you would like. We do not use your client data to train AI models. And Smart Notes meet PIPEDA, PIPA, and all the regional compliance. This is not a public AI tool. This is built specifically for clinical trust. How Smart Notes fits into your workflow. No two therapists work the same way, and Smart Notes respects that. It's built to fit your workflow. If you're using OWL Telehealth, you can simply scribe that session. For in-person sessions, you can record the session directly within OWL. If a client is not comfortable recording the session, you can dictate your notes in OWL after the session is complete. If a session is very sensitive or complex and there are parts of the session that you would like to skip, you can pause and resume the recording at any time. If you're using a different tool for telehealth like Zoom, Teams, or something else, you can still record an owl at the same time, or you can dictate your notes after the sessions. We know that not all therapists work the same way, and neither should their documentation tool. That's why we have built Smart Notes to be very flexible so it adapts to your workflow and not the other way around. We are happy to report that Smart Notes is officially out of beta. Generating Smart Notes faster was one of the biggest requests when we first launched a beta version of Smart Notes back in March. And since then, we have been constantly working on improving the speed at which the notes are generated. I believe that at this point, it's comparable to other similar available tools in the market. Increasing the character limit for SOAP and DAP notes was the next highest request we have done. We have already increased the character limit there. When we first launched Smart Notes, it referred to the therapy seeker as patient, but we heard from you all that that's not accurate and you would like the therapy seeker to be referred to as a client in the note summary. We have made that change. Option to record audio with an owl was our second highest requested feature, and I'm happy to report that it's since been launched and it's being used by a lot of therapists. The next biggest request was how SOAP and DAP formats look. You did not like the boxed UI for these templates, and I get it. We have updated this since then, and it's launching in the next week or so, but we have converted SOAP and DAP into the regular rich text format. Option to dictate your notes after the session is also available within Smart Notes, and we have updated the prompt to create better summaries. Let's hear from another happy customer that is using Smart Notes. Her name is Andrea, and she was one of the first customers using Smart Notes. She says that Smart Notes has been invaluable to her practice and has fundamentally changed how she approaches clinical documentation. This is what it comes down to. Not just time saved, but a better presence, better accuracy that translates into providing better care. And that's the transformation. I skipped over this slide, so I'm going back to it. What's next for Smart Notes? We understand that everyone has a different style of note taking, and customers want personalization. So we are launching Smart Edits soon. You will be able to select the length of the note that's generated. If you want a small summary, a medium, or a detailed note, you will be able to set these options. We are also adding formatting options. Some people prefer a bullet point list, while others like paragraph style formatting. You will be able to select what kind of formatting you want for Smart Notes. And you will be able to add your own instructions. This is huge. You will be able to select if you want an EMDR type of note or CBT type of note or any other modality that you use. Session prep is also very important. If you have reoccurring sessions with your client and you want to see the progress that they have made so far, or if what was discussed in the last session, any homework that you might have assigned to the client, or important things to focus on for this current session, you will be able to see that in pre-session summary. I will be showing you all of this as a prototype in a minute, but we are building this with you. So sign up for Smart Notes to get early access to these features as well. Let's go to the live demonstration. I have a monitor set up with Owl app running, and that's why you'll see my gaze shift to a different screen. Let's start with consent form. OWL provides an inbuilt consent form that you can send to your client. You just need to select the form. It's called consent for recording and transcription using Smart Notes. You select the client that you want the form sent to, and your client will be able to view and fill out this form using our client portal. Going to therapist settings, there are some default settings that you can select for Smart Notes. For that, you go to the therapist profile and edit it. You will see all the Smart Note settings in one place. If it's a group practice, you will be able to assign Smart Note seats for therapists who are willing to try this. So you don't have to purchase it for everyone at once. If there are a few therapists at your group practice who want to try Smart Notes, you can set it up for them. We also have a setting for default template. You can always change the template in notes section, but if you use session note more often, you can set that as a default template over here. Speaker assignment preference is another thing. Our system auto detects who the therapist and the client is. But if this is something that you would like to manually assign, we do have a setting here. If you select this to be manually assigned speakers, it will let you assign the speaker before it goes in and generates a note. I have prepared a few Smart Notes already for us to review. Before I show you what that looks like, let's look at the three main ways you can use Smart Notes. This is an in-person session, and I want to start recording the entire session. I simply click on Start Recording. It is very important that you give permission to OWL to access your microphone, because if this doesn't happen, you won't be able to record anything or generate a Smart Note. I'm going to select it to allow this time. We have a test microphone setting that will tell you if the audio is being recorded or if we can hear your audio. You have an option to join the call with audio on. We can also select if you are recording an in-person session or if it's your note dictation. Since for this session, I would like to record the entire session, I can select in-person session and I can start recording. You'll be able to see that the session is being recorded. If I stop talking, you'll not see the bars move. So if you don't see this animation over here, that means your session is not being recorded and something needs to be looked at. It's very important that you do not use headphones while you are in an in-person session. You place the device near you and the client, and you always keep this tab open. If you refresh the tab or if you close it, then you lose the recording. I'm going to end session, and it will start generating Smart Note. If the audio recording was successful, you'll see the success message. Second is video call. So you can join the video call, begin, and I am going to join the video call, apply my settings, and I'm going to join this. I have an option here for Smart Notes. I can auto enable transcription when the call starts, and I can join the call, or I can do that after I've joined the session. So let me join the call, and you see the option here to scribe the session. When you click on it, you'll see that it's transcribing. I can pause and scribe again to skip over the section of video that I don't want captured. Let me leave the call. And third option is note dictation. We saw it briefly when I was demoing the in-person session, but you can do that from the notes section as well. So I'm in my notes section. I did not record a video call or I did not record the entire in-person session. In that case, you can click start recording from here. You can select dictate notes and it will start recording. Let's go back and look at the notes that I have generated already. So this was a video session and I recorded the entire video session. You will be able to see the transcript of the session on your right and the note generated in your format that you have selected by default. I also appended a SOAP note and I wanted to show you what it's going to look like after the release. So there are no more ugly boxes. It's all in one format. If you want to add another template, simply click on choose a template drop down and you'll be able to see the 3 templates we currently have available for Smart Notes. You are also able to expand the transcript to make it easier for you to read or collapse it. You can see when the transcript is available until. This is the date when the transcript will be deleted. But if you want to delete it sooner, there is an option for you to delete the transcript. Please make sure that you only delete the transcript after your session note is generated. Because once the transcript is gone, we won't be able to generate Smart Notes. I have another example for what a dictation would look like. So this was my own dictation in my own words for a session, and it generated the summary in the similar fashion as it would for a recorded in-person or video session. So if your client is not comfortable, this is the best option to use Smart Notes. Going to what's coming up next, I'm going to start with Smart Edits. You have your session transcript, you have your session summary generated, but you want the length to change. We are going to default it to medium, but you will be able to select that and select a different option. If you want a detailed note, you can do that. If you want a shorter summary, you can select brief. You can add your own instructions. Simply add a title and the prompt you want to use for your instruction and create. It will be saved in the same drop-down and you will be able to select it. If you want to edit the prompt, you can do that as well. There's an option to edit and delete, and you can update the prompt. You can also set default settings. Once you set it as default, that instruction and formatting is going to apply to other sessions. Looking at pre-session summary. So before joining an in-person session or a video session, you want to take a look at the pre-session summary to remind you what was talked about in the last session, if there was any homework that was assigned to the client, or important things that you should be focusing on for this session. It's going to be here as a pre-session summary. If you are already in a session and you still want to reference the pre-session summary, we have it right here. You can expand and look at the pre-session summary. You can also hide it if you don't need the pre-session summary and show it again if there's something you want to reference. Third option is video call. So if you're joining a video call and you want to reference the pre-session summary during that call, you will be able to click on 3 dots and select Show Pre-Session Summary. You will be able to view the summary while you are still in the session with your client. It will also be available in the notes section. Next to your transcript, you'll see an option to recap, and that will show you the same pre-session summary as a recap for this session. All of this is coming to Smart Notes soon. If there are any questions or if there is a part of this demo that you would like to see again, please let us know in the chat and we can revisit. What we are exploring next. So we are going to constantly work on Smart Notes and improve it. After Smart Edits and pre-session summary, these are the features that we currently have on the roadmap. But if there's anything else that you want to add or that you would like to see for Smart Notes, please let us know. We want to build this along you with your feedback. We are going to allow you to upload your own template, and that will be converted into the Smart Note template. We have also heard that you would like to use Smart Notes for assessments and intake templates. So we are going to add that. Add sections from the transcript to the note that seem important. So if, for example, it misses something in the summary, but it's available in the transcript and you think that it's very crucial to be added to the note summary, you will be able to select that part of transcript and add it. And you will be able to select if you want a timestamp transcript or if you want speaker assignment. The quality of transcript remains the same. Timestamp transcript is faster and speaker assignment is detailed. So based on your workflow and what's more important to you, you will be able to select these options. Corey is going to answer some of the questions that you sent us.
Yeah, these are questions that we get in quite often. And I just want to call out, the hard work that Wani and her team have been doing on working on these new features for Smart Notes. And we really appreciate all the time that many of you have taken actually to let us know about some of the features that you'd like to see in Smart Notes. You really do drive the direction that this tool has been going and the features that we are working on. So please continue to send in that feedback. It's extremely valuable for us as we continue to work on this. Okay, so some questions that we see quite often. How do I get some consent from my client? So Wani was actually talking about this one earlier, where we have a pre-built template in All Practice that you can send to your clients for them to read and sign. You can edit this. So we do provide like a pre-built template, but if you'd like to make some changes to the template, you can do that as well. But just to make it a little bit easier on you, we do provide one there for you to use right from the get-go. What if my client doesn't consent? Can I still use Smart Notes? We don't recommend using Smart Notes without client's consent. Consent is extremely important, as everyone in this call knows. So we'd like you to get consent for using this tool. How do clients benefit from Smart Notes? We talked a lot about this earlier as well. But again, it's being more present in your sessions. That's the number one thing we hear from many of you. Being able to spend more of your time focusing on your client in the session instead of worrying about getting everything down in your notes. And does Smart Notes work with couples or family sessions? So Smart Notes works with couples sessions. For family sessions, just be aware for any group sessions that at this time, Smart Notes doesn't support more than 3 clients in one session at this time. So just important to keep that in mind. Does Smart Notes work with all session types? Yes, Smart Notes works for in-person and telehealth appointments, as Wani was demonstrating earlier. Is my client's data safe? We hear from many of you on this one, on the support team. Yes, as always, even before we release Smart Notes, data stays within OWL's secure environment. And now some questions more focused on the compliance side. We get these quite often from you as well. So where's all the data stored? Securely in your OWL account and also on servers in Canada. That's the way it's always been, and it's not going to change. So that hasn't changed since the release of Smart Notes. How long are transcripts and recordings stored? So recordings are deleted after the transcripts are created. And transcripts are deleted automatically after 7 days. And Wani also showed that you can delete the transcript sooner if you'd like to. So that option is always there as well if you don't want to wait for the 7-day period. Is any client information used to train an LLM? No. That's a very short answer, but no. None of the information that is used in SmartNotes is used to train any large language models of any kind. Is SmartNotes the same as ChatGPT? No. So when people think of AI tools, this is ChatGPT is probably one of the first ones that come to most people's mind. SmartNotes is not a public chatbot like ChatGPT or like Claude or like Gemini. It was created specifically to be used for Canadian clinicians within OWL practice. So it is quite different from the public chatbots that anybody can use. Is SmartNotes compliant? Yes. It meets FIPA and PIPEDA and regional compliance. We were very careful from the very beginning. We've talked about in previous webinars how from the very beginning, before we released the SmartNotes beta, we worked with many of you who've been using OWL practice for many years in getting your feedback and things that you felt were important before we even started building the tool. So yes, it's 100% compliant. So how to add SmartNotes to your account. It's very, very simple. You just go into your account settings, go to your subscription section, and then add-ons, and you can add it to your plan. Very quick. So I just wanted to call out to those of you who are in group practices, and Wani was touching on this a little bit earlier as well, but just a reminder, so just as an example, say you're in a group practice with 10 clinicians, you wanted to give SmartNotes a try and maybe add 2 seats for SmartNotes to your practice. Just remember to enable SmartNotes in the settings for the individual therapist that you want to be using it. We have a special offer for webinar attendees today. This is pretty exciting. So if you decide that you'd like to give SmartNotes a try, if you're not using it already within your practice, you get 50% off for your first 3 months of SmartNotes. And this will be available until the end of the month, until June 30th. So that's pretty awesome. Really great chance to give it a try and put it through its paces for 3 months, half off. And I would be remiss if we didn't mention our referral program that we have at OWL Practice as well. We hear from many of you about how much you love using OWL Practice. And if you love using it, we'd love it if you shared that enthusiasm with your peers and maybe with people who aren't using SmartNotes in their practice. So the way this works, if you refer somebody to use us, just make sure you're sharing with your friend or colleague. The URL, you can share with them the URL for your practice, the name of your practice, and when that person is setting up their account for the first time, there is a place where they can enter that information in as somebody who referred them. And then if that person stays with our practice for 3 months, after 3 months, you both receive a $100 subscription credit. And the best part about this is there's no limit on how many colleagues you can share this with. So you can just keep going referring people. There's no limit to it. Excuse me. So as we've done with previous webinars, we're here to answer your questions. So I've already seen some of you using the Q&A feature and asking us questions. We have a few colleagues answering those as we've been going through the webinar. Please continue to send those in. We're going to continue to answer those, and Wani and I will jump in and answer some of them as well. But we do have some questions that were submitted before the webinar that we'd like to get to as well. Okay, so the first one, does SmartNotes work for parent-child sessions, family sessions, and play therapy sessions? So yes, we talked about this. I talked about this a little bit earlier in one of the other questions, just to be aware of the 3 client person limit that we have for SmartNotes. So as long as it's 3 and below, SmartNotes will work perfectly fine for any type of session that you are holding. You just have to remember that limit of going beyond the 3 individual clients. Can we make custom templates or train the AI ourselves? We've touched on this a little bit as well already. Customization is not available at this time. We have new templates that are coming soon and new customization options that are coming soon that Wani already walked us through. I'm actually really excited about those. It's going to be huge. A lot of you have been asking for that. How do we use Smart Notes for live in-person sessions? Can we use a cell phone or a laptop to listen into the sessions? So it's a really good question. So yes, for in-person sessions, you can use different devices to record the audio. So you can use a laptop if you want to. You can log in with your cell phone, or if you have an iPad or some kind of tablet device that you're using. Whatever you think would make your client feel most comfortable, you can use that device. And Wani was touching on this earlier as well. Just make sure that it's somewhere in a central location, between you and your client when using it for in-person sessions. But yeah, multiple types of devices you can use for that. Where are the servers located that hold the audio recordings used for Smart Notes, and what happens to those recordings after the session is ended? So as mentioned earlier, all of our servers are located in Canada. After a session has ended and has been transcribed, those recordings are automatically deleted. We do not hold on to any of that data. Will I be able to use the handwritten notes feature alongside in-app audio recording in OWL? Not at this time. So not available at this time in Smart Notes, but again, we appreciate the ask from customers who are asking for different features. I will again encourage you to please keep submitting those into our support team because we do keep track of them. Will clinicians be able to add our own templates to Smart Notes and add them immediately after a session rather than waiting for the summary to be drafted? As Wani was showing earlier on the roadmap, it is coming soon. This is one of the big ones that many of you have requested. We've probably seen this request almost more than anything else besides the in-person recording feature that we've already added. So this is exciting. This one will be coming eventually. Do Smart Notes meet all of the CCAI guideline requirements? Yes, it does. We are very careful to make sure that Smart Notes is compliant across the board, so that no matter where you are located in Canada, you can use this tool confidently.
I do not see any open questions. I think our team has done a phenomenal job at answering all the questions that you have submitted. But if you have any other questions, anything that you would like to request for Smart Notes or you would like to see on the roadmap, please let us know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of our coworkers that is answering questions is actually part of our team on the support side. So any feature requests that are coming in Q&A as well, we're making sure to jot those down and keep them recorded.
I see a question. Can you speak to how it learns? Is it evidence-based? We have our own prompts for it to capture the right things from the transcript and the session. And we have a group of therapists who we work with who provide constant feedback. So not on your actual data, but on the mock data that we are using and generate internally. And then we send it out to therapists to verify and make sure it's capturing the right things. So it doesn't learn from itself, no, because in order to do that, we will have to send your data to the AI model for it to learn from itself. We don't do that. We don't use your data to train the AI model.
I'm guessing this next question from is Claude, as they're asking about Claude to record sessions. It might be a typo there. So it's a really interesting question. So for those of you that aren't aware, Claude is a third-party chat style publicly available AI tool, one that we were referencing earlier. We don't recommend using tools like that to record sessions because these are publicly available. These large language models. You're not fully aware what they're doing with your data. Let's put it that way. They are typically using the data that you are putting into these tools. So it's not very secure when it comes to sessions, types of sessions that you all are running. So short answer is we would not recommend using these types of tools to capture your notes for your sessions.
I think they're talking about Plod. It is a recording device.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay.
Sorry.
I'm not aware of that one. So you can take that one, Wani.
Yeah. As long as you are able to upload the recording after recording it on a recording device, yes, you can use it. I can show you what that would look like. So if I go into a session, I have an option to upload media file. So if you're using an external recording device and instead of recording the session, you want to upload a media file that is available from that recording device, you can do so by clicking on upload media file. We do have that option available. There is another question about I sit with the CRPO complaints committee, and often we will see clients request recordings and notes from their therapists. We do not save the recording, so unfortunately, you cannot download any recording. It's not captured within OWL. We only record the audio and delete it as soon as the transcript is generated. Notes definitely can be shared with your client, but at this time, Smart Notes does not save a recording from the session. When is the recording of this session available? It will be available right after the webinar is over. It will take some time for us to process the recording and to send it to you all, but you should be getting it soon in your inboxes.
Cindy
About
clarified it was about not having access to the recording
yeah.
or the consent form. Yeah.
I will have to double check on that. The consent form is specifically for recording the sessions. It does say that the recording is deleted, but I can verify and send you this answer after the webinar today. Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining and giving us your really helpful feedback, asking all the questions. Please send us more feedback. If you are interested in building more features with us, let us know and we will reach out to you. There's one last question that I can answer. Will SmartNote summarize the transcript based on length requested? Yes. So if you request a very detailed summary, that's what it will reference the transcript and create a very detailed summary for what was talked about. But if you prefer a smaller summary, it will make the length of the note shorter based on your selection. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. And like Wani mentioned earlier, please continue to submit your feedback and your thoughts on Smart Notes. It greatly helps us to determine the roadmap for the future. So thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.